get that on ready. Hey, welcome back to Mobility Project. We are in the land of strange accents and very, very strange people. Where are we?
I don't think it's
Manly.
places like that.
What's the root word of manly? Man. Which is, when you think of man, and man, I definitely think of Sydney, Australia. So here we are in Australia. We're CrossFit Athletic, owner, super coach, Paul and Kim. And what I want to talk about today is one way to think about complexity of movement. Now take a look at this. We'll have them demo in just a second. One of the things that we can do when we start looking at kind of diagnosing problems is that we want to go from a position, we've said this before, of high stability to another position of high stability. Now, typically people who have maybe are hiding deficits or have kind of poorly developed motor programs can hide some of their problems if they stay connected, which means that as long as there's tension through the system, that I can kind of typically go from one pseudo good organized position to another good organized position. Pressing is a good example. But as soon as we take this and we go position of high stability to another position of high stability with no connection and no tension, then suddenly the problems get magnified. What am I talking about? Suddenly I'm jerking, and that there's no tension all of a sudden in the middle of the system. Hopefully I'm staying connected and I'm locking out. And one of the ways for this is, let's watch both these guys squat for a second. So just give us your best answer. But remember, we're not watching, we're judging. Go ahead and, just attend the mobility seminar, right? Okay, so good bottom positions. They're not collapsed ankles, knees are out, good positions, and stand back up, boys. Very nice. Now, this time, from dropping, let's go ahead and just drop dynamically into position. One of the reasons we have to expose our athletes to more speed and load is we're going to see what happens when they suddenly have to constitute or reconstitute lots of stability and tension. So just go ahead and drop down into the same squat. And you saw one of the things that happens is that Kim's feet go a little bit wider. You see how his knee gimbaled back and forth. That gimbaling of the knee, like a rocket booster that's going back and forth, when I see that knee wobble, and we call that gimbaling, G-I-M-B-L-E, gimbaling, something like that. We want to avoid that. And what's happened is that we're starting to see the kind of true ramifications of what some of those mechanics are. Stand back up again. Let's do that same drop. Reset your feet. And let's go ahead and reset both times. And then go ahead and drop again, landing what you think is a good position. And let's not see any wobbling of the knees. I want to see you guys arrive on tension. Go. Good, better, and you can still see a little bit wobbling. And now as they kind of drop through connection, we can see that they end up in maybe a worse position or maybe the same position. This is one of the reasons, again, why we need to expose. Let's go ahead from the bottom up, guys, this time. Okay? So from the knees, and let's go ahead and have you jump from the knees and land in a high torque position. Okay? So no tension. Well, if you needed me to demonstrate, I can. We're just going to jump up and then be rock stable in that bottom position. Okay? So we're set. Jump. Good. Better. And now we start to see we should see the same shapes. And as we're kind of thinking about programming, one of the reasons things like the full clean are so difficult is that I have to have high tension, good position, and then suddenly end up in a rock solid position. And this is a nice way to start to uncover problems. I can start to uncover problems with thinking about adding a speed element to a position, and I can take away this connection. So I remove the connection. And that when I suddenly have to go from tension to no tension, back to tension, then I'm going to see kind of what the truest expressions are. And I think this is why we have more and more problems through versus when I can just kind of gut it out. Does that make sense to you guys? Yeah. Way to think about mobility, think about the tunnel, what's happening, and then what we're going to see is that when that lack of mobility or change in some of those caps or positions or some of the tissue restrictions get magnified under speed or when I have no connection through range. CrossFit Athletic, if you guys are here, you take a little boat ride through paradise and land at higher paradise, is that right? And there's cold beer on this side of the bridge too, or the bay. But if I was living in Sydney, no offense to Sydney, this is where I would live. CrossFit Athletic, thanks boys.
Pleasure.
Thanks guys. Pleasure. Nice to see you guys at MobilityWOD. See you guys tomorrow.